Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks, back again with another live stream, 7:30 p.m. Madrid time, Spain mainland time of course. A little bit earlier today, normally start at around 7:35, but of course today the Spanish national team is playing at 8 p.m, so we don't want to cut too much into that broadcast of course, because lots of people will be interested in watching that game. Now, we'll go through some of the main stories today that have caught my attention in the press, some of the comments that were left on previous videos, and also into the chat section, of course, because as we know, the interactive aspect of these live streams is very, very important. We've got Steppenwolf, Colin coming in from Dorset. Possible snow in the next couple of weeks there. Wow. Barbara coming in from Playa Flamenco, heading to Cantabria in the spring. Have I ever been there? Asks Barbara. Absolutely, I have, Barbara. We had a regular contributor on the channel a few months ago now, Ivan, who was from Santander, which is the capital of Cantabria. Ivan has since left Spain, gone to live in Australia. He'll be coming on the channel soon to give us an update on what's going on. But yeah, I have been to Cantabria, Barbara, to answer your question. Fantastic part of the country, especially at that time of the year, the springtime, when those winter months are coming to an end. Simon coming in here from Lanzarote. Hello, Simon. Send through some more photos, Simon. Plenty of room for more if you've got some. Mugger coming in from El Campello. I thought today was going to be cancelled because of Australia's victory yesterday in the World Cup. Yeah, going on to phase 2 or the last 16. And yeah, I was a bit surprised to see that, to be honest. But Argentina is the next game, so it doesn't matter who you beat. The next opposition is always tougher. Now, the first piece of news today. And it seems that Spain has its own version of the Unabomber. New artifacts to Sanchez, Robles and the Torrejon base. Incendiary substance in brown envelopes with identical handwriting and sent from Spain. The president of the government, Pedro Sanchez, the Minister of Defense, Margarita Robles, and the Torrejon de Ardoz Air Base have been the recipients of 3 new packages with incendiary devices inside, in addition to the 2 sent yesterday to the Ukrainian embassy in Spain and to a company in Zaragoza that manufactures military equipment. In all 5 cases, the characteristics of the brown envelopes containing the devices and their contents are similar. They had the same handwriting on the addresses, written in pen and in capital letters. So, big story breaking today that, well, it broke yesterday that the Ukrainian embassy in Madrid received one of these letters in the mail. Somebody opened it and it exploded. That person is subsequently in hospital, I believe. And more apparently were sent to the Defense Minister and also Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez and a company in Zaragoza. So, as I said, Spain seems to have another Unabomber, because there was one back in the day. I think back in the early 2010s, 2010, 2011, they arrested some guy that also sent explosive devices in letters to people around the country. So another person doing this now here in Spain. Not sure of the reason, but they think it's a pro-Russian supporter, obviously with that one sent to the Ukrainian embassy, and also Spain's participation in this war, let's say, in Ukraine, sending military aid to that country. So somebody obviously not happy about that and sending those letters to those people, as we saw. So we'll see how this one pans out over the next week or so, and if they catch this person, because apparently from what I've read today, they were just stock standard envelopes sent at street level postage post boxes here on any high street in the country. The yellow post boxes, as we know. Now we're up to 31 likes, so I'll just put the little like icon on the screen. If you haven't hit that yet, please do so, just below the video. And also, if you've got a picture that you would like to see up on the green screen behind me here, or the blue screen if you like, you can send it in to this address here. spainspeaks@gmail.com, and I've got plenty over the last few days. So send those photos of Spain in if you're here at the moment. Send them in, or if you have been here in the past and took some nice photos. That is the address. Now, back into the chat section. What's going on? Let's have a look. Barbara, I must be pleased about Australia in the World Cup. Yes, very pleased, as are the entire population of Australia at the moment. Big celebrations last night down there. Chris coming in from the Valle del Sol, Alora. Got some rain last night, but not enough, obviously. Sherbet dip in chilly Benidorm. But going back to the UK, not looking forward to that. Chilly Benidorm, there we go. What's the temperature? 15, 16 degrees. Probably a little bit humid down in that part of Spain, but there is a cold snap at the moment, I think, affecting a lot of Spain. Here in Madrid, very cold nights, very cold indeed. Elaine waiting for the Spain game to begin with the Spain shirt on. Sarah coming in from Ohio, USA. And Killian coming in from a mild and dry Dublin. No rain and no frost or ice there yet. Good to see Killian. Now, second piece of news. Let's have a look. Spain gains 500,000 inhabitants in a decade, but 7 out of every 10 municipalities have lost population. 7 out of every 10 municipalities have lost population in Spain, 71.8% of 8,131 between 2011 and 2021, according to the first results of the population census published by the National Statistics Institute on Wednesday. In the same period, the country has gained 584,882 inhabitants, reaching 47.4 million people. The data shows the unequal territorial distribution of the population, which is becoming more accentuated in the country. Half of the provinces have reduced the number of residents. Zamora tops the list with 11.7% fewer inhabitants. Meanwhile, by communities, the ones that have grown the most are the Balearic Islands, 7.5%, Madrid 4.7%, and the Canary Islands 4.6%. The population tends to concentrate where there are job opportunities. Interesting. So places where there are no jobs, obviously people leave and they come to cities like Madrid where there are job opportunities, and also the islands here in Spain, tourist reasons no doubt, and other opportunities there. Probably a lot of people from the interior parts of the country moving to those coastal places to get better weather as well, especially down there in the Canaries, as we know, where the weather is decent 12 months of the year. People probably heading from the colder parts of Spain down to those places, at least in the winter months, as are many Northern Europeans, as we know. So an interesting statistic there. 500,000 people more over the last decade, but 7 out of every 10 municipalities have lost population as people leave looking for opportunity for their children, no doubt. There we go. Interesting. Now, back into the chat section quickly. Pi Wackett coming in from Cheshire in the UK. Chilly there today, as other people have pointed out. Chilly in the UK. What else we got going on here? Chris has hit the like button already. Thanks for that, Chris. Well done. Alan coming in from San Diego. We'll be back in El Puerto de Santa Maria next Friday. Good news there, Alan. I imagine you are looking forward to it. Miguel coming in from Derbyshire in England as well. 4 degrees Celsius there. Bit cool. What else we got going on? Miguel saying also well done to the Australian soccer team. Thank you very much for that. I'm sure that they are happy with that result, as we saw before, because I think it's the first time since 2006, if I'm not mistaken, that Australia has progressed to that next round. Tony coming in. Well done, Australia beating Tunisia. I think Denmark was the game yesterday, Tony. That was the key game that got us through to that next round. Mad Guide coming in from Seattle. And Daryl coming in, City fan coming in from Barcelona. Amongst the Moroccan people, you would have thought they had won it already with the mega party going on. There we go. Moroccans out and about getting ready for that game. Or maybe it's already been played, not sure. And Pamela coming in from a cold Terreros. Now, next piece of news. Real unemployment did not fall in October, with the permanent discontinuous unemployed it increased by 138,000 people. Unemployment registered in the offices of the State Public Employment Services, SEPI, fell in October by 27,027 people in what was the biggest drop in employment for an October in the entire historical series. However, this fall in unemployment was not entirely real, according to the economists at FEDEA, who believe that workers who have a permanent discontinuous contract and in October became inactive, not working, and in some cases collecting unemployment benefits, should be counted as unemployed. This is what this think tank calls effective unemployment. That is, the total number of registered unemployed plus the permanent discontinuous unemployed, plus the workers out of work because they are affected by a temporary redundancy program, or ERTE, as it is known here in Spain, the ERTE. So this is a new contract system that the current government has come up with over the last couple of years or so, I think. I think it was introduced for the first time last year. Don't quote me on that date, but I think it was. And basically they substituted the temporary contracts in this country, which were very popular, seasonal jobs. Everybody was on a temporary contract, which meant that you worked for 6 months, then became unemployed, maybe got your job back again, worked for another 6 months, unemployed again, etc. And they replaced it with what's known as a fijo discontinuo, as it's called here, I think, which is like a fixed, let's see what it was called here, permanent discontinuous employment contract, which means that even when that, so it's the same, but when that contract comes to an end, instead you don't work anymore, but the company is obliged to keep you on the books, I think, even though they're not paying you, and you get first options for that job when it becomes available again. So again, if it's related to some type of fruit picking or temporary work around the country, maybe you were going from place to place, now you've got your job guaranteed because of this new type of contract. But apparently, and this is what the opposition party is going on about at the moment, the unemployment figures are being manipulated according to them. So that's the difference in the employment situation here. So the temporary contracts, which a lot of people had before, have changed. They've now become this permanent discontinuous contract. A bit difficult to understand, but basically it just means that the company has the obligation to hire that same person again and sort of keep them on their books throughout that period. Even though they can claim unemployment as they could before, the government is apparently not counting some of these people as unemployed when that work finishes, because they have that option to go back the next year again or whenever the season starts up again. So that's what's going on at the moment. So we'll see what happens. All right, now next in the chat section here, Claire coming in from a rainy Ashford, Kent in the United Kingdom. Oh, how lovely it would be to have some sun. Yes. Luckily here where I am, it's cold, but the sun shines. So if you can find a place out of the wind, so if in the back garden here, sort of out of the wind, in a protected area, you can get warmed up by the sun. So that's a pro. Spain speaks Spain football, says Makish. What else we got going on here? Gary coming in from a cold and windy New York. Nice win against Denmark. Yes, it was, and very nice win. Great goal as well by Matthew Leckie, I think was the striker. Sarah saying we had the Unabomber a few years back. Not sure if that's in the States or whether it's here, but we did have a Spanish version of the Unabomber back in, as I said, 2010, sending envelopes to people. And there's another one now. Joe coming in from a rainy start to the new month in Santa Cruz. That's true. Start of a new month, December, Christmas just around the corner. Robert also coming in from Vancouver. Hope you're doing great. Start of December. Buena suerte España hoy. Yes, as I said, the Spanish national team playing later this evening in about 15 minutes' time, I believe. Now I'm going to change the backdrop. I'll put this one up from Jackie. It's a picture of Casa Abonella, I think. Not sure where it is, but I think it's in Andalusia. It's one of these white villages. And thanks for sending that picture in, Jackie. Now remember, if you want to see your picture up in the background, The email address is there, spainspeaks@gmail.com, and I will get around to sending it. And if you can, 16.9 ratio rather than the I don't even know what it's called, but the Instagram type photo, where it's quite a long and narrow. The wider ones, please, if you can, so that they fit on the backdrop better. Like button back on the screen as well. If you haven't hit the like button, please do so just below the video. We'll see if we can get up to a decent tally today. Let's see. Now back into the chat section quickly. Rory coming in from Mallorca, raining there as well apparently, middle of the rainy season. And John, the travelling wino, saying that we had the same problem in Jerez. Cycle lane put in, all the parking around the Mercado Abastos gone, driving people to the big supermercados out of town. We have a great market. Yes, the controversy at the moment of cycle lanes that are popping up all around the country. Speak about that in a few minutes' time when I go into the comment section. But yeah, it's proving to be controversial in this part of Madrid where I am. People hitting the streets yesterday, some over 1,000 people protesting about those bike lanes. So we'll see what happens with that in the future as well. Next piece of news, let's have a look. 240 euros rent for a tent in the courtyard of a house in Palma de Mallorca with the right to use the bathroom and kitchen. Menos mal. The offer is published on an advertisement website. I have a camping space for rent with the right to use a bathroom and kitchen. The price is 240 euros per month, although there is a possibility of renting it weekly for 60 euros. However, it is emphasized that the accommodation is located a couple of minutes away from the central Plaza de España in Palma de Mallorca. Smoking is allowed, and electricity, water and Wi-Fi are included in the price. The rental ad is aimed at quiet and independent young people and requires a deposit of 250 euros. The photos in the advert show an old courtyard with some garden furniture covered with fabrics that have seen better days. Everything is decrepit and old, like the green tent itself, tucked into a corner. It is clear that the conditions of habitability required for any property for sale or rent are not met. Habitability, I think, is that word. So we've seen in recent times how Ireland has a housing crisis. People queuing up to find a place to rent in Ireland if they can find one. People saying that they're having to leave Ireland and look for accommodation in other countries. And an article that somebody sent me the other day saying that there's something like only 1,000 properties available in the whole country, that is Ireland. And in Palma de Mallorca, something similar there. Somebody offering their courtyard and their house with a scruffy old tent in the corner, and 240 euros a month for the privilege. But luckily, you've got the right to use the bathroom and the kitchen. So there we go. That's what is being advertised in Palma de Mallorca. So desperate times, I imagine, trying to find rents in those places. And as we know, the Balearic Islands in general, it has been quite difficult for a lot of people to find rental accommodation, especially seasonal workers that head there for the tourist season, because there's just not enough places available, and a lot of the rents have been turned into tourist accommodation. So difficult to find long-term rents. But that's the solution, a tent in someone's courtyard for 240 euros a month. And if you only want to stay there for a week, 60. So, difficult times for the rental market, not only in Ireland, but also in some parts of Spain. Osawakat coming in from Rainy, Oregon. Greetings from Ballarat. Ian, Ballarat, Victoria? Interesting. Shangian. Good to see you here. Marianne back from Panama. It was lovely. Maybe Avila next time. There we go. I remember that, Marianne, you went to Panama with your friend who's looking to retire down there. Glad to see you had a good trip. Ed coming in from a cold Barcelona. Jan coming in from London, also chilly there, 5 degrees apparently. And Remy coming in with another chilly day in Sant Feliu. Now, word of the day. A fer campanya, on the political trail. Example, Podemos beta Yolanda Díaz hacer campaña con Más Madrid or Compromís. Podemos vetoes Yolanda Díaz to campaign with Más Madrid or Compromís. Now, this is a word an expression that we're going to see a lot. It means to campaign in English, hacer campaña. And of course, 2023 here in Spain, a big year for elections. So we're going to see plenty of politicians haciendo campaña next year. General elections and also some autonomous community elections as well, and municipal elections, I believe. So, as I said, lots of politicians next year haciendo campaña. All right, good. Now we're up to 89 likes. I'll put the little like icon back on the screen. If you haven't hit it yet, please do so. Just below the video. We'll see if we can get to 100 today, which I think would be a decent amount. Now, I've had a few emails come through from people with sending me background pics. So remember that if you've got a background pic to send in, this is the address here, spainspeaks@gmail.com. And like this one in the background here, which is a nice white village down there in Andalusia. I could put it on the backdrop here. All right, good. Now, back into the chat section quickly. Edward coming in, is rural population decline a world phenomenon? Not sure, Edward, but I know here in Spain it is a problem. I know in Italy it is also a problem, rural population decline. But I would say that more and more people are moving to cities, which has been the trend not only recently, but I think for the last 100 years, I would say. It has been the trend as cities get bigger and bigger and bigger. And as we saw there, cities like Zamora here in Spain, Avila, Soria, a lot of these smaller regional capitals or provincial capitals here in Spain losing population because the jobs have dried up and there's no incentive for people to live in those places anymore. No jobs, not a nice place to live, I suppose. That's the reason. All right, good. Simon, another pic from Lanzarote just sent your way. Yeah, Simon, got that one. Thank you very much for that one. Got one from Prasen as well. So remember to send them in. Let's have a look. Amanda's in the chat today. Hello, Amanda. Hope all is well. Mark left Mallorca this morning. Now in a cold, damp, murky UK for Christmas with the family. At least it's warm in the house. Don't think people realise how cold Mallorca gets. Well, again, it's I suppose it's that humid island weather. Not only island weather, but fairly typical of the coastal areas here in Spain. When it does get a little bit cold and windy, it can get cold in those places. And a lot of people complain that the houses are not prepared for cold winters, so that can also be an issue in some of those coastal areas. Not the case here where I am, because every house in Madrid is prepared for the winter with central heating, but in a lot of the coastal areas, apparently that is not the case, and that's a big complaint from people. Yvonne coming in from San Fulgencio. Hello, Yvonne. And what else we got going on here? Tony meant Denmark. Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah, I think Tunisia was a previous game, I think, Tony, but Denmark was the one yesterday. What else we got going on here? Sarah, Paul saying hi. And what else we got going on here? Yusuf coming in as well. Conversation going on there. What else we got going on? Plenty of activity, plenty of interactivity in the chat section, which is good to see. Now, I'll go into the first comment that was left on a video the other day. One here from Mike saying that if young Spanish people are earning such a low salary, how is it I see so many of them driving fairly new, decent cars? Good question, Mike. I think the answer to this is that not every young person here in Spain who works has a low salary. I think it's 45.9% of the population earns €1,000 or less. But I think there was around 35% of the population that earn 1,500 plus. And with that type of money, you can get a decent car. Now, speaking from experience with the young neighbours that I've had over the last 20 or so years in this neighbourhood where I'm living here, the guys next door, the first thing they did when they got their license was to buy a fancy car. Now, I'm not sure how much it cost, but it was one of these Volkswagen, I think it's called an R-Line or something like that. It's the one with all of the extras. Fancy wheels, fancy paint, interior, fairly nice as well, souped up engine, and I think it was around a 35, 40,000 euro car. That was the first car that he bought when he was 18. Then he moved on to a Mercedes when he was around 22 or 23, and now he drives a Porsche Panama, I think is the model. So luxury cars all the way for this guy. And you do see a lot of young people driving around in nice cars, I will admit. What are their salaries like? I've got no idea. Do they live at home? Probably. So that allows them, if they don't have to pay rent, they can buy a nice car. And I think that's the mentality of a lot of people, that to have a nice set of wheels is something that a lot of people strive for here in Spain and other countries as well. We know that having a nice chariot, as some people say, is it's something that people aspire to have. And definitely what I've seen from the young guys that have lived around me, one of the priorities was a nice looking car. But as I said, next door neighbour now has got a Porsche Panama, or Panamera, I think it is. And so he just goes from decent car, he just keeps on going up. I don't know what's next for him, basically. I've got no idea what's next. All right, now what else we got going on? Miguel, how can anyone rent out a tent in a garden? Are we insane? Well, I think we've got to that level, Miguel, to be honest. But obviously somebody there's looking at a way to make a little bit of extra income per month, and 240 extra in the bank account every month. Tax-free, no doubt, because obviously no one's going to catch on that you've got that tent, except when it becomes national news, of course. But, yeah, people looking for ways to make extra income, I would say. But, yeah, we are going down that path of going into insanity. Sam coming in from a dry but chilly Seville. Yeah, cold and dry here also. Kirk coming in from a sunny southwest Florida, or Florida, as they say here in Spain. And Rory saying that the Balearics are looking to restrict house purchases to foreigners here on Mallorca. Real estate agents up in arms here. Yeah, I read something about that recently, Rory. I didn't look too much into it, but I did see it in the paper. So an interesting story there about restricting foreign house sales to foreigners, let's say. Good. Now I'm going to change the backdrop. I'll put this one up here from Colin, who's in the chat section, or at least he was. Serón apparently is this place, also in Andalusia, I believe. Not sure exactly where it is, but not a white village, brown village. But thanks for sending that one in, Colin, a.k.a. Steppenwolf. Now let's have a look. Like button on the screen one more time. If you haven't hit it, please do so, just below the video. And we'll see if we can get the tally up a little bit further. And if you want to see your picture in the background like Colin's here, spainspeaks@gmail.com. There's the email address. So send them through. Now, next comment. This one here from Helen. I live in the Canary Islands, and if remote workers are prepared to work and contribute towards the economy, can't see a problem with it. Yeah, this has been the debate that we've been having over the channel, over the last week or so. Some people are for, some people are against all of these remote workers heading down to the Canary Islands because, as we know, they are escaping those cooler or colder winter months in the north of Europe. Lots of Germans heading down there, lots of Dutch people, Polish, I think, as well, heading to the Canaries, able to work remotely, these digital nomads, if you like. And some people are complaining that it's putting extra strain or stress on local services. There's more queues down there in the Canaries. Somebody said people are walking around with a sense of entitlement. But Helen here saying that if they work and contribute towards the economy, can't see a problem with it. I suppose it depends how many people decide to head to that part of Spain. I mean, there must be a limit when you live on an island when it comes to population. I'm not sure how many people the Canaries can sustain because there are water issues down there, things like that, service issues as well. So again, when that new digital nomad visa is approved next year, we could see an influx of people heading to places like the Canary Islands. So that's one of the concerns that some people have, but Helen, not too concerned about it. Thanks for the comment, Helen. Kathy coming in, finally made the live stream, coming in from New Hampshire in the United States. Beautiful day there. Thanks, Kathy, for that. Rob saying, come on, Spain. A Spain supporter in the comments, just starting the game. So I'm going to wrap the live stream up in 5 minutes' time. Belgium is out, says Makish. That's surprising to see Belgium out. I thought they would have easily made it through to the final 16, given the quality that they have on the football pitch. What else we got going on here? Let's have a look. Stephen coming in, regular viewer Stephen, coming in again from North Wales. Another cold but sunny day. Good to see you back again, Stephen. I hope you're back in Spain soon. What else we got going on here? Let's have a look if I can find one more. Yusuf asking the question, any more interviews coming up soon? Love them. No interviews scheduled except for one with Ivan. We just have to line it up because he's in Sydney currently. And the time difference between Spain and Sydney, I think Sydney is like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning currently. So it's difficult to match schedules there. But we will definitely find out what's going on with Ivan, considering that he has made the move with his young family to Sydney to look for better opportunities. So we'll see what made Ivan leave Spain. All right, good. What else we got going on? Pete coming in from sunny Colombia, 30 degrees there. Next year going to live in Ourense, Galicia. Less warm, but I like that. Safer too. Colombia is very dangerous with very low wages. Yeah, I've never been to Colombia, but people do tell me that there is a bit of a crime problem there. One of my neighbors is from Colombia, and he says the thing that he likes most about Spain is that he can take his kids for a ride on his bike, park the bike somewhere, come back 5 minutes later, and it's still there. Whereas in Colombia, he said his bike would have been nicked. But, yeah, hope all goes well with that move to Spain, Pete, next year. Now, we'll have a look at another comment here. This one from Daryl, who's also in the chat section. You should come to Barcelona and see the intense works that they are doing to make bike lanes and green spaces. It's made it very hard for those who are visually impaired to get around. I wish the Green Brigade took these factors into consideration, and then after even more e-scooters and bikes on the street like it belongs to them. There we go. So the problems that all of these new bike lanes that are creating here in Spain, cities like Barcelona and Madrid also, with these e-scooters and bikes zipping around the city. And Daryl here saying that the visually impaired, making it tougher for visually impaired people to get around. Another one of the issues, Daryl, of course. So it is something that I think authorities need to work out. And also here where I'm living here, as you guys know, bike lanes are the number one priority of the local council at the moment, modifying the streets to accommodate bike lanes. So, yeah, we'll see how this ends up. But locals here are not happy. They're not happy. Now, we've got a super chat, I think, or a super comment from Zlatko. Hi from Dallas. Thanks for the informative videos. I helped solidify our decision to move to Spain. Have a beer or wine on me. Thank you very much for that, Zlatko. Hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly there. Sometimes I get some names that I'm not familiar with wrong. I got an Irish name the other day wrong. Apparently it was Donal, but the spelling caught me out. But hopefully I've pronounced that one correctly there. And thank you very much for the $20 super chat. Greatly appreciated. Now, we're coming up to the 34-minute mark. A couple of minutes more because the Spain game is on. My son's currently watching it. I'm sure that if they score a goal, you will hear his shouts from here because he is a huge Spain football fan. Also, he's gotten on the Aussie team as well, considering that they've made the final 16, which is good also. All right, what else we got going on here? Pamela saying that her house is hot in summer, cold in winter. Yeah, it's a common complaint, Pamela, from a lot of people that buy property here in Spain, especially along that Mediterranean coast and in the Balearics, obviously. What else we got going on? Antonio coming in from Arroyo del Miel in Benalmádena. Marble flooring, no heating, a cold night. There we go. That's the classic example. What else we got going on here? Let's have a look. Chris saying that the village looks like the view from the Alhora Castle into the Plaza Baja. It could be. I'm not sure. It's in Andalusia somewhere. Colin will let us know exactly where it is, but I'm not sure of the name of the town. I think I said before what it was called. Let me see. Sedon, apparently. Don't know where it is in Andalusia, but it's down there somewhere. Taraz coming in from Aurora, Colorado, Metropolitan Denver, and Prassen signing off, going to watch the game, like a lot of people, of course. And Ed saying that his first car cost £175 and got him on the car ladder. Probably appreciated more than the guy you just spoke about with the Merc life back then was. Yeah, my first car was nothing fancy. I'll tell you, Ed, back in the day, I think I inherited a car, or not inherited, but, one that my mother stopped using when she got a new one, got passed on to me. That was my first car, a little Ford. I think it was a Ford Laser or something like that, which got me round until it got stolen. And it was a complete write-off, and I had to get a new one. But, first cars. I never went too fancy, but a lot of people here, young people here, first thing they want to do is buy a decent set of wheels or a decent chariot, as they say. Now, I'm going to start to wrap the live stream up because that Spain game has started. So thank you very much for your participation today. Thank you, everybody, for contributing to the chat section. Thanks for watching. Remember to send your backdrop photos in to this address here, spainspeaks@gmail.com. I'll get around to putting them up eventually. Thank you very much for the super chat before from Zlatko. And thank you, everybody, for watching the live stream today. I'll see you again on Sunday, a little bit earlier on Sunday because there's an England game on at 8. So I think 7 o'clock will start on Sunday evening, so hope to see you then. Hasta luego. Hasta entonces. Adiós.